Alright, what's up everybody, John here. Just want to say to everybody, I hope everyone's doing okay, once again during the craziness that is the world right now. I don't think I need to explain. But yeah, today I decided to take some time and break down and do kind of an analysis on Batman Arkham Knight. After playing Arkham City, I decided to go ahead and play Arkham Knight. Did 120% of the game, didn't do the new game plus, just wanted to go through the game. Had a lot of fun with it, of course. So we're going to talk about Arkham Knight. Talk about the game itself, a lot of stuff within it. Spoilers ahead. Obviously, game came out in 2015, that's 5 years ago, so if you still haven't played the game, don't want anything spoiled for you, sorry, but that sucks, but you're going to have to just not watch the video because I'm going to spoil some shit here because we're going to be going over a lot of the story. Alright, let's get started. So, I'm going to be talking over maybe a combat map or two. I'm actually going to be playing pretty lame in the combat maps here because when I was recording this on my PlayStation, I was trying to get a couple DLC trophies. I think it was the Chill in the Air and the Monarch Theater one where you can't take any damage or break your combo. Also, I'm going to be talking over some free roam. It's going to be some free roam in my favorite DLC skin for Batman, the Batman Beyond 2039 skin. I think it looks awesome, and I'm going to be driving around in the Rocksteady Batmobile, which once again I think just looks great. It's black and white, it says Rocksteady on it. Awesome version of the Batmobile, one of my favorite in the game. And also, I just want to make a disclaimer that I really enjoyed this game. Love the game just like I enjoy every game in the Arkham series. It did a lot of great things, which I'm of course going to be going over. And it's no secret that Rocksteady absolutely put their balls into this series. They put everything they had into the games. They take the character seriously. They have passion for the character, and that allowed them to give us the best possible experience. So, can't thank them enough. Awesome job with these games, Rocksteady. Also, WB Montreal with Arkham Origins. I know the game gets a little bit more criticism than the other three games do, but I still really enjoyed the game. A lot of great things. This is my favorite version of the character, hands down. Arkham Batman is the definitive Batman. So despite any criticisms I make, I still love this game. Absolutely one of my all-time favorites. Another thing, I played on PS4, so I'll be using PS4 notation. So people that played this game on Xbox or are going to play on Xbox, just use corresponding buttons. For example, it would be left trigger or LT on Xbox would correspond to L2 on PlayStation. Simple as that. Alright. Let's get into the voice acting. So, voice acting, Kevin Conroy returns as Batman. Amazing as always. I think he is the definitive voice of Batman. He played him in the animated series. He's the voice of Batman in a couple of animated DC films, and also, of course, the Arkham games. And, he's not in Origins, but the voice actor in Origins, I can't think of his name right now, but he still did an awesome job. But Kevin Conroy, definitive Batman. He actually has a Riddler thug line. I'll get into the Riddler thugs later, but when he's interrogating to find Riddler items on the map, when he's interrogating him, he's like, "Tell me what you know about Riddler. Don't make me crack your skull and look inside for the answers." I was like, holy shit. I'm like, Batman's just scaring the shit out of these guys. I love it. Just Kevin Conroy's deep voice, can't beat it. Now we have Mark Hamill as the Joker. Once again, amazing as always, the definitive voice of Joker in my opinion. Anytime that voice actors for Batman and Joker are not Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, I always want it to be Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. Not to say that the other voice actors are bad by any means that do play these characters. A lot of them are still great, but these guys are just so embedded in my head that these are the voice of these characters that I really do love when I do get to hear them as their characters. So yeah. We have Troy Baker as the Arkham Knight, super talented. He was also Joker in Arkham Origins and is also Two-Face in both Arkham City and Arkham Knight. And John Noble as Scarecrow, among others. I think that Scarecrow was awesome as well. Voice acting all around is great. Alright, the Batsuit. So, the Batsuit you have for the majority of the game looks great. It's my favorite default Batsuit in the entire series. I think it's like version V.08 maybe. It's armored up. I'm actually going to be using it in this Crime Alley combat map here. That's the Batsuit you use for the majority of the game. I think it looks awesome. You begin the main story with a different suit. It's called the Post Arkham City Batsuit. It looks cool, but I like the upgraded one better. You receive the upgraded one very early on in the game, like within the first 5% of the game or 10% of the game. It's super early. All the characters look great. All the Bat family and Catwoman, they look good, but I do prefer Robin's hood up like he had in Arkham City. In Arkham City, his hood was up. You can see it in Night that he has the hood, but it's not up. It's just hanging off him in the back, and you can see the top of his head. Just nitpicking, but I just prefer the hood up. I really like Nightwing's new fuckboy haircut. It's like the whole, like the frat guy haircut with the fade and the flip to the side. I really do like that. It kind of cements his persona as like a ladies' man. It's better than that scraggly Justin Bieber haircut from Arkham City, that's for sure. And obviously better than that mullet that he had in the 90s animated series. So yeah, character models are always awesome. Catwoman looks essentially the same as she did in City. I think her hair is a little bit maybe longer in the front, or maybe it's due to like a graphical improvement of the game, but she still looks great. Main story. So I won't get into everything, but the story is great overall. Well, I should say it's good. I enjoyed the story. I'll explain where I think it could have gone a little bit differently, but Scarecrow threatens to release his fear toxin into Gotham City, and he's just creepy as fuck as he always should be. That slow voice, like talks like a fucking Scarecrow would if Scarecrows could come to life. Barbara Gordon gets kidnapped early on, and at one point, Scarecrow's fear gas actually tricks Batman into thinking that Barbara's committed suicide, which it really increases the tension of the game. It's like, holy shit, this is getting serious. There's also like a lot of tension between Bruce's main allies, like Robin, Barbara, Alfred, and of course Jim Gordon, when he realizes that Barbara was working with Bruce as Batgirl and Oracle. As you can imagine, a protective father would not take very well to that. So that you could just see the tension. Bruce is getting in arguments with his allies. It's almost like cringeworthy. I loved it in the story. And in a way, it kind of foreshadows the identity of the Arkham Knight, which we'll get into. I love the idea of the Arkham Knight, and I think portraying him as someone who knows Batman extremely well and kind of knows how to beat him is really cool. For example, when the Arkham Knight's telling his militia troops, like, if you're going to shoot him, don't shoot him in the center, because, like, where the center would be, like, his heart or his midsection area, that's where the armor is the strongest. You got to shoot him in the shoulders, because that's where the armor is a little bit weaker. I'm assuming the armor's stronger in the middle, kind of where the bat emblem is because that's where his vital organs are. He needs the most protection in that spot. A little bit disappointed at the reveal of the Arkham Knight, because Rocksteady said that they created a completely new character, which I guess technically they did, because the Arkham Knight is new, but the reveal of Jason Todd as the Arkham Knight was a little bit disappointing. At the very least, it was misleading. I really wanted it to be a new character. I did, however, like how after you beat the Arkham Knight, Jason becomes Red Hood, and he kind of saves Batman's ass at the end of the game. And then you can play as Red Hood in his own DLC and in the challenge maps, which is certainly a lot of fun. I'll get into that a little bit more later. Joker. Alright, let's talk about Joker. As we know, that Joker was pretty much the main antagonist in all three of the Arkham games prior, Asylum City and Asylum City and Origins. I know we got other antagonists that were very much in the spotlight, but for some reason Joker always has to come along and steal the show. And in this game, I'm just not a massive fan of Joker in the game. He died in Arkham City, And I think it should be just left that way. What happened is that Joker sent his infected blood to all the hospitals in the state before it killed them, and they thought all of it was tracked down, but due to hospital errors, by they I mean like the GCPD and Batman, they thought it was all tracked down, but due to hospital errors, there were some transfusions that went unrecorded, blood transfusions, and these people that have become infected are transforming into the Joker, quote unquote. They're like starting to portray Joker personality traits and looking like the Joker. There are 4 people infected in Panessa Studios, which is like kind of like a smaller Batcave type place that Batman has set up on Bleak Island in Gotham City. And it's where Bruce and Tim Drake, Robin, are working on a cure for these people. At some point during the game, Harley Quinn breaks the new quote-unquote Jokers out of their cells, and they're spread all around the movie studios, resisting being locked back up. And you have to work together as Batman and Robin to bring all the Jokers back to their cells, which I thought was an awesome portion of the game and a lot of fun. One of the Jokers is actually a massive hulking brute named Albert King, and he's super intimidating, but when you walk into the room, he starts talking shit to Batman and Robin. He's like, fuck you guys, I'm gonna escape, I got my gang here, we're gonna fuck you guys up and get out of here, just talking shit like a thug would to Batman and Robin. I'm getting him riled up because he knows that Batman and Robin are probably gonna try to fight him so that way he can't escape. And Bruce and Tim just approach the battle just so stone-faced. They walk in, no emotion, just ready to fucking go, like, let's fucking go, let's kick some ass, and they're super ready to just knock the shit out of these guys. It's awesome. It's really cool, and obviously you go on, it's like a boss battle type thing to where you double team Albert King, you fight him with both Batman and Robin. It's a really cool fight. The twist actually ends up being that even though there are 4 new Jokers, there are 5 cells, which the 5th is empty. It's revealed that Batman is the 5th Joker and is trying to take over Bruce's mind, so it's like this internal battle thing going on. And even though I wish they didn't go this route, it was great to hear Mark Hamill as Joker like mentally harass Bruce throughout the game. He was saying things along the lines of Oracle and Jason's pain and suffering is all because of him and they were his responsibility and he failed them. And also saying how Oracle is already dead at the hands of Scarecrow because he kidnapped her. And so Bruce should not get his hopes up while trying to save her. No. Just really evil things trying to get in Bruce's head, things that you would expect someone as messed up as the Joker to say. I don't think they really needed this because I think Scarecrow and Arkham Knight were great enough threats on their own, and the Jason Todd reveal without the Joker torture flashbacks would have made it a little bit more surprising, even though a lot of people still probably would have known who it was. But at the end of the game, Scarecrow is injecting Bruce with a lot of fear toxin, and you play as Joker inside Bruce's mind as the final internal battle to silence the Joker once and for all. And of course, Bruce ends up winning the battle internally. It's something new. There's some like first-person things with the Joker that's kind of trippy, a little bit interesting, new spin, but I wish the Joker was limited to the Panessa Studios situation because if even that, the only reason I would want it to stay in there is because I really did love the Batman-Robin team-up. I thought it was cool. A lot of fun. Alright, so let's talk about gameplay. The controls feel great. You'll see me in my free roam here in the combat map, a little bit of what I'm talking about, but the controls feel great. Combat is as fluid as ever. Strikes, counters, blade dodge takedowns, just fearsome bat brutality. It's all there. A few new enemy types are in the game, like there's a medic who will revive guys that are knocked out and will also electrify enemies, so surround them in electricity, and you can't straight up strike or counter these guys, you actually have to use the bat claw to attack them. The instant bat claw slam to hit them. There's new brute enemies which act similarly to armored guys in Cities and Origins. You have to do a stun beatdown with circle and then do the bunch of strikes on them. Predator mode is also very good. You still have your silent takedowns, the inverted takedowns. You walk guys into explosive gel traps. You got great takedowns where you go underneath the floor. And there are also a few new really cool gadgets like the voice synthesizer. What it is basically you have a device where you mimic the voices of your enemies, like Harley Quinn in the Arkham Knight, and you can like walk guys and walk thugs into traps, like walk them away from the group into a silent takedown. Like the militia will think the Arkham Knight's talking to them, so you throw the Arkham Knight's voice and say, "Hey, open that door," and then and then one of the Arkham Knight, the militia thug will open the door, and then the Batmobile can come in and take out all the guys. You could do things like that with it, so that's a really cool gadget that you could walk guys into traps with. Oh, there's also a new multi-fear takedown, which is new to Arkham Knight, where it's like if you're in a silent takedown situation and there are a bunch of guys around, you can actually take down up to 5 guys before they can even react. So that's a really cool new feature. Love that they added that to this to the game. Let's see. You can also grapple into floor grates from above by holding R1, and you grapnel swing into a wall vent. So you'll grapnel swing into a wall vent, and you'll go like down the chute and into the grate. So you'll be onto the floor. You'll be able to perform some great takedowns. So the movement is just awesome. Movement is better than it's ever been. Improvement from Origins and City for sure. Yeah, love those improvements. Traversal of Batman is once again better than it's ever been. Moving around, buildings are super high, so you can dive deeper and climb higher with the Cape Glide. The grapnel gun fully upgraded is awesome. I love diving low and then grappling onto a nearby building and performing the maximum boost, which would just shoot Batman back up into the air with awesome height and speed. Great improvement from the previous Arkham games. I never remember being able to get that kind of height and speed from the grapnel gun. Awesome in Night. Now, let's talk about the Batmobile. Alright, I know a lot of people have their mixed opinions on the Batmobile, but I'm going to give you my full breakdown on it. It looks great, looks awesome. It looks similar to the Tumbler from Batman Begins, and it's coined as Batman's personal war machine by some of the thugs. Couldn't agree more. It handles really well once you get used to it. You drive with R2 and boost with triangle, and you can brake with square for sharp turns and also go in reverse with square. Using the Batmobile Using the Batmobile for transportation and combining it with Bruce's gliding and grapnel travel is another thing that I just couldn't be happier with. The maximally upgraded Super Eject is an awesome addition to travel. I love driving around at high speeds and then ejecting Batman to the moon at, once again, great speed. So I felt like movement was never limited no matter what situation I was in. Oh, the water or Gotham Bay is preventing me from driving the Batmobile to a different island? No problem. Just eject Batman into the air, glide over super fast to wherever I'm trying to go to. Awesome traversal. By holding L2, you enter battle mode in the Batmobile once again. 360 degrees of Batmobile combat action. You can blast the Arkham Knight's malicious tanks to bits with the Batmobile cannon and shoot down incoming missiles with the Batmobile Vulcan gun. You can also charge up the missile barrage meter to certain levels and can launch auto-targeted missiles to destroy several tanks at once. You can even upgrade to hack other tanks so they target and destroy each other. I won't lie to you, all this is pretty interesting and creative for the most part, and blowing enemies to Kingdom Come with the Batmobile cannon is satisfying as hell, but there's just way too much of it. I think a massive part of the main story is spent in the Batmobile, and it's just really excessive. Like I said, these tank battles can be fun, but not 10 times throughout the main story. There's a tank battle at the end of the game, it might be the very last one actually, that takes place after you save Oracle from Scarecrow and bring her back to GCPD. What Scarecrow does is he releases the rest of the malicious forces in the grounds of GCPD, and there are just a shit ton of tanks to battle and fight you in the Batmobile. Oracle works with you to hack some of these tanks to make the fight a little bit easier, but I really wish they would have gone with like 3 or 4 of these massive battles spread throughout the game, like maybe a beginning, middle, and end type of thing, rather than like a ton of smaller ones. Another thing is there are some parts of the game when you're in the Batmobile and not fighting tanks. For example, toward the end of the game, Arkham Knight pulls out a massive burrowing vehicle that's immune to Batmobile combat, so you, instead of like fighting it with the Batmobile cannon, you have to lead the vehicle through the tunnels underground into these bomb traps that weaken the vehicle with each blow. Although not super easy, it was creative and fun. The Riddler races with the Batmobile are also enjoyable. Riddler will put these like obstacles up, and you have to drive through and along walls and stuff. It's pretty fun. I just wish there were more things like that with the Batmobile throughout the game. All right, boss fights. So, the Cloudburst boss fight. Fuck this battle. This battle sucked. The Arkham Knight is in this massive tank, and you have to take out several Cobra drones. They're these massive drones. You have to get behind them and place a well-timed shot from the Batmobile cannon. Then you can finally attack the Cloudburst once it's just the Arkham Knight left. Huge pain in the ass. Took me a while. Maybe I just suck. I don't know. Also, after you beat the Arkham Knight, Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, takes over the Arkham Knight militia. He becomes the new commander, and his boss fight's very similar to that battle with the Cloudburst battle that I just explained. It's ridiculous. You just fight Deathstroke in a fucking Batmobile fight. Like, I really wish it was just hand to hand, kind of like in Origins, because Deathstroke is such an amazing fighter, but we didn't get that, which really, really sucks. But yeah, that boss fight sucked, I thought. Riddler was fun. The Riddler boss battle was fun with Catwoman, which I'll get into a little bit later. Let's talk about the Most Wanted. And the Most Wanted are just the side missions. All the other missions, they're not the main story. They're extremely hit or miss. I don't think a lot of them needed to be in the game. Destroy Penguin's, I'll go over a couple of them. You destroy Penguin's weapon caches with Nightwing. Basically just a bunch of double team combat missions with Bruce and Dick. Stop Two-Face and his goons from robbing banks. There's Azrael's in the game. He wants to take up the mantle of Batman once Batman steps down. And it's basically just a bunch of combat missions with Azrael where you can't take any damage. Like I was explaining before, there's the militia. Once you beat all the militia missions, you get to fight Slade. There's Man-Bat. You just fly around, you tackle him a couple times and give him an antidote to turn him back into his human form, which is Kirk Langstrom, Dr. Kirk Langstrom. Firefly, he just burns a couple buildings. I think you have to chase him with the Batmobile 3 times, and you tackle him and beat him up. And then you take him to GCPD and incarcerate him. Fucking waste of a mission, in my opinion. There's the Campaign for Disarmament, which is just another militia mission where you have to do 1 million more tank battles, so that's a blast. Good luck. There's Hush, which is a complete waste. It's like a 5-minute little mission. Thomas Elliot, the identity thief from Arkham City. And it's nowhere near as in-depth this time. Then there's Professor Pig, which I thought was really interesting. Professor Pig's one was okay. I shouldn't say really interesting, but it was one of the better Most Wanted missions. This guy, he's a serial killer. He's hanging bodies, dead bodies, like in different places in Gotham. And basically, Bruce uses this body scanner to identify these victims, and he puts them all together and figures out where this guy's hideout or lair is, and you go and fight him and realize that he's hacking people and trying to make them perfect or whatever, and you take him down. I forget which comics he's from, but I know he's in something. I was reading a Batman Battle for the Cowl not too long ago, and I think I saw a picture of him in there, if I'm not mistaken. There's Deacon Blackfire, who sacrifices Jack Ryder. He's like doing some religious blood sacrifice with Jack Ryder outside of the Lady Gotham statue, and you just gotta fight a bunch of guys and save Jack Ryder's ass. Alright. Riddler. Let's talk about Riddler. There's just too much. And I'll explain everything here. There was some bloating with this in Arkham City, and Arkham Knight essentially has the same issue. Getting the necklace off of Catwoman with a combination of Batmobile races, riddles, and working together with Catwoman was a really cool new twist. That's all different from City, which I really enjoyed that part of the Riddler. But once we're done with that, it's just back to the same thing we had in Arkham City and Origin, I guess, with the data packs. Not gonna lie, some of the riddles are cool and fun to solve using the Batmobile to get the trophies. Fine, I guess, but why are there so many riddles? There are 243 in all, and even more because I think sometimes a bunch of the breakable objects will be placed into one spot on the Wayne Tech menu. But I just thought there were too many for City as well, and all of the riddles combined with Catwoman, with the Catwoman collar stuff is just a little excessive. I think if they had all the Catwoman stuff, keep all that in there, and then instead of there being 243 riddles, go with 125, maybe 150 riddles, maybe. And I think that would be just enough. I think, though, part of what makes it annoying, or part of what makes it go even slower and is more repetitive and makes it drag, is that you have to interrogate the goddamn Riddler thugs. And it's just a little too much. I think they should keep, in this part, if they're going to keep as many riddles as they do, keep it to 10, maybe 15 Riddler thugs that you have to interrogate throughout the entire game, and have each one give you an entire section of the map. It ends up being however ridiculous amount of guys you have to interrogate, and it's very repetitive and bloated. Like, you have to interrogate like 5 different guys just to get all of Panessa Studios. You know what I mean? It's like, why can't I interrogate one guy and he tells me where everything is? I understand it's to make the game go longer, but I think it's very, very bloated. But the final boss fight is fun when you're fighting Riddler's robots, and Catwoman comes in so she can fight the red robots and double team. Okay, so let me explain this. So, in the before you actually, I mean, you might be doing this at the same time, but before early on, you have to save Catwoman. Riddler placed a collar on Catwoman, and you have to solve a bunch of riddles throughout the city. Do Batmobile races, do Batmobile riddles, and then you have to do like Riddler team missions with Catwoman. Once you do that, you get the bomb collar off of Selina. She goes away. You're like in the middle of actually fighting Riddler in his big mech suit, and he deploys these robots at Catwoman and Batman, and he deploys both red robots and blue robots. And Batman can only punch and strike the blue robots. Catwoman can only fight the red robots. So during the middle of the fight, once you defeat all the robots, Riddler says, "I won't fight you. We're not finishing this until you find every riddle in Gotham." So you go, you get every riddle, and then Riddler says, "Okay, come back and fight me." So he cheats his fucking ass off initially, and he deploys only red robots at Batman, so you can't actually hit the robots. And what I didn't know was going to happen, I'm in the middle of this, I'm like, how the hell am I going to win? Catwoman actually comes from the ceiling. She comes out of absolutely nowhere, which I had no idea she was going to come, and you fight all the robots together, and then you take down Riddler. And the double team takedown on Riddler is awesome, because Bruce just literally, he fucking throws Riddler out of the mech suit. Catwoman like punches him in the face. Riddler's on the ground, and then Bruce just jumps out like from the Riddler mech suit and just bops him in the back of the head and just KOs him. It's awesome. All the double team takedowns are awesome. I love them. But yeah, anyways, that's basically the Riddler fight, and I had no idea it was going to be like that. I loved when Catwoman came out of nowhere. It was very fun. There's also a really awesome dialogue at the end of that. Once you walk out of the orphanage, which is where Riddler's lair is, once you walk out of the orphanage, and Bruce puts Riddler in the Batmobile, he starts to talk to Selina, and she's like, kiss me or whatever, like, thanks for saving me, and Bruce is like, I can't, like, this is my last night as Batman, and she's like, I'll see you again, right? He's like, no, like, Gotham needs something different, it needs a new legend to rise from the ashes of the Batman. It's really cool dialogue, the way he's, once again in Kevin Conroy's voice, it's awesome, but, yeah, it's a really cool little dialogue there that I really enjoyed to hear at the end of that, so that was a cool reward. Alright. That's all that stuff. That's all the most wanted stuff. Let's get into the main story DLC. Now, Season of Infamy, that's the main story DLC. It's very, very bland. There's not much to it at all. We got Croc, Mr. Freeze, Mad Hatter, Ra's al Ghul. Alright. The best one is Ra's al Ghul, by far. You can make a decision to revive Ra's or let him die at the end. It's most interesting. Mr. Freeze, same bullshit as in City, just save Nora. Great, that's what you always have to do for Mr. Freeze. Mad Hatter, you find missing police officers in their trunks around Gotham, and then you go back to GCPD, and he just mind fucks you into doing a big combat challenge in a book. And he flips the pages, and each page has enemies from a different game. Like, the first page is Arkham Asylum, then Arkham City, then Arkham Knight, and then you beat the Mad Hatter. Bland. Killer Croc. You just track down Croc in the prison airship. I think it's Iron Heights prison airship with Nightwing. You fight him with Nightwing. Once again, the double team is really cool. And I'm going to go back to this too. I think the double teams in this game with Batman and everybody else is really awesome, because it really shows just how like strong and athletic and like physically fit and like their martial arts skills of the Bat family. I think it's awesome. Like they'll do crazy like boxing flurries on the enemies. They'll like jump up and do flying knees, and Bruce will use the Bat Claw to like slam his like knee into Croc's head and stuff. And actually on this battle, what I thought was cool is against Killer Croc, they do like the RKO on him. They'll do like the WWE Randy Orton move, the RKO on Croc, and it's fucking awesome. But yeah, I do love the double teams, and it's really, really cool to watch. Overall, the DLC, not very good. It actually makes the Spider-Man PS4 City That Never Sleeps DLC look like a goddamn masterpiece, and that is by no means perfect in its own right. Although Season of Infamy wasn't that good, at least they listened to the complaints and held off on the Batmobile. I think there was only one Batmobile mission. It's at the end of the Mr. Freeze one, but the other three, I don't ever remember there being anything, at least no Batmobile battles, so they really did kind of call off the dogs with that one, so at least they listened to the fans there. We had enough of the Batmobile in the main story, don't need it in the DLC as much. Now, I'm going to go over some cons. I know I kind of already touched on some of this, but one thing I didn't mention was that new to Arkham Knight, during a combat encounter, there will be some enemies that will just charge at you. Not like the Titans from Arkham City, just like regular guys that will run at you, and their charge can't be countered normally. They'll just run at you and they'll have the red flashes above them, meaning you can't counter. The only way to like defend against these guys is you have to either throw a quickfire battering to knock them out or do a redirect over them. And the bad part about that is that you'll be in the middle of free flow combat and the camera will snap in the direction of the charging enemy, and it can just be very annoying. Like you'll go to hit somebody but the camera will snap and your stick will be in a different direction than it was, and then you'll go and you'll accidentally strike a guy with a shield and lose your combo, or a stun baton and take damage and lose your combo. It sucks in that case, and I just really don't think that it should exist in the game. It doesn't add anything, it just makes it annoying, and the combat's already awesome. So I think that like combat thing is just not very good. It shouldn't have been added. Obviously the bloating of the Batmobile tank battles and in the main story, subpar Most Wanted missions. Jason Todd being the Arkham Knight, I wish it was somebody else, but it makes sense. It doesn't completely ruin. Doesn't completely ruin the story for me. But like I said, part of me wishes it was a new character. All right, where can we actually improve? Instead of the Riddler bloating and even like the Most Wanted the Most Wanted side missions, maybe cut down on some of the side missions and the Riddler stuff and make like less of them, but make them, each one of them, deeper and more interesting, or just put a shit ton of stuff into the DLC, which I actually will be able to, which I actually will go into in another video about what I think they should have done with the DLC in the Most Wanted. I will be getting into that in another video. It'll be pretty detailed of a DLC I think they could have come up with. It'll be more of, we'll put less into the Riddler stuff and the side missions in the actual story, and make an awesome, expansive, deep DLC to add on to the main story of the game, which I think would have been a better direction to go in. But I understand that, nowadays people want more, and they want it now. You want more, and you want it now. I think sometimes less is more, and making things deeper, more interesting, giving things more flavor, more innovation is, is better, and that's what I'll be talking about in my next video. So, thanks for listening, everybody. Appreciate it. Hope you got something out of it. Let me know what y'all think. Peace out.